Well, hello everybody and welcome. For me, it's a slightly different clocking the gallop. I have a different background. The reason I'm doing it from here is that it is the Dell WGC match play final, and I've got a few bets in running. So if I keep looking over here and going, oh, it's because there's live golf on. And I was just telling Rouvaun that I actually did pretty well because I backed 3 golfers in the quarterfinals yesterday, and they've all three made it through to the semis. But it means that obviously one of the semifinalists I don't have. So I'm just picking my moment, perhaps, as to when to cover. So I don't need the one guy that I haven't got to come and win the whole.
Well played, son.
Well, anyway, but I'm relying on you boys to find us some value. Now, Shaheen, let's start with you. We race at Durbanville tomorrow. And then I think after that, Rouvaun can confirm, but it's our last meeting at Durbanville for a while.
I believe so, yes. An early start too, 5 minutes past 12. We get the open underway, which is the start of the bipot. And welcome to the viewers, of course. And well, race 1, Neil, I thought if you go to, I must say one thing, Glenn Cotson is in unbelievable form.
Yes.
If you have a look at his current strike rate, I mean, he's just having a wonderful spell. So there are 2 horses here who met first time. The one's called Comedy of Manners, who's from the Glen Cotson Yard, and the other one is called Santa Maria. When they met, Santa Maria had the beating of Comedy of Manners, who's a VAR, by the way, very nicely bred. That one was beaten. Santa Maria was running on very strongly. Both of them, of course, are racing the same sorts, but they're from different stables. Now, as far as the first goes, I like those 2. I think that's enough to concentrate on. There's been a little bit of money, I believe, for Santa Maria, who's now trading. The last I looked, I think, was into 16 to 10. At one stage, it was 22 to 10. And Comedy of Manners has gone out to about 15 to 2. I like those 2 horses very strongly in the first, and I'm not going to look past them.
Okay, Rouvaun can give his opinion there. Santa Maria was one of the boats, wasn't he, that Christopher Columbus sailed when he reportedly discovered America. So I suppose if you back Santa Maria, maybe your boat will come in. But Rouvaun, what did you like in the first? I heard you saying to Shaheen you liked a little bit of Treasure Hunt, the 7.
I did, but besides us going on a treasure hunt, do you remember the other 2 boats' names? Now we're taking you back to what Standard 4, Standard 5 history.
Santa Maria.
Santa Maria.
The Pinter.
The Pinter and the Nina.
Pinter and
not the Pillager. Not the Pillager and the Thief, the other 2.
Correct. 100%. Yeah, exactly. I mean, talk about conquistadors. They just arrived and murdered and pillaged everybody. But anyway, it's not just
well right. I actually do like a bit of treasure hunt, seeing that we are sailing in different directions this evening. I thought that treasure hunt showed good improvement with front-running tactics last time out, and that stable of Pete Wooders is in form. In fact, I must tell you boys a story. Last week, Pete won the last race with Captain Dizzy.
Yes.
And I got one of the part owners of Captain Dizzy, Michael LaRue, on our app. He said, "Oh, I love the way you boys were clocking the gallop, except you didn't tip my horse." And funnily enough, I had the very card that I used for clocking the gallop with me, and there was not even a red marking. Like all the notes gets made, there was not even a red marking. So I said, "Well, it was first run at the maidens." He says, "Well, I can tell you now the stable's in form." So I missed the wedding last week. I'm certainly not going to the funeral, knowing full well that stable is in form. And I think a repeat of that performance, bearing in mind that Treasure Hunt is drawn wide, so it will be a case of jump, overcome the draw to the front, and come and catch me if you can. Remember, the Durbanville track is running fast. So I think Treasure Hunt is certainly one that needs to be included in trifectas and quartets. And I see Shaheen has not even looked at Veronique, who ran second in that Bloodstock South Africa Cape Yearling Sales Cup. And I think that's also one that needs to be considered. So if we take his 2 and my 2, maybe box the 4 horses, 24 rand in a quartet in the first.
Okay. Just one thing, that Treasure Hunt comes out of that Ambiorix form line. And Ambiorix won in a very fast time. There was a show when it ran 3rd where I tipped it. I don't know if you remember it, one. I said, give it a full go, like there's no tomorrow place. Held on a short hair. It paid 360 or 3 rand on the tote, one of the 2. So I liked it last time. I looked tomorrow. I don't like it tomorrow, unfortunately. I don't think that the 1250s is chop. I think that may catch it out from the wide draw. Anthony Andrews is the rider. But noted, Rouvaun, that you like a little bit of treasure hunt.
Okay, let's move on to the second race. Now, there's a lot of first-timers here, and we know that they can play havoc, particularly, I suppose, at Durbanville, which is not easy to make your debut there because it's not a straight course, unless somebody's been sharp enough to take a horse there to gallop, which is not normally the case. But let me start with you, Rouvaun, now with the second race. Your thoughts here on the exposed form, because that clearly seems to be the Fourie and Snaith combination of you know who.
100%. I'm not even looking beyond that horse as far as the place accumulator is concerned. That was certainly a very eye-catching debut. If one looks at that form line has actually not been franked as such, but if one actually looks at the manner in which you know who had finished off with a natural improvement, one can expect a much better run from him. He is also going over a little bit further, so I'm expecting him to certainly be there and be the one to beat. As far as finding a roughie in this race is concerned, I like number 12, Temple Bar, because that all showed lots of pace. Tomorrow is well drawn. The Cotton stable, as Shaheen mentioned from the outset, is in fine fettle. That form line was franked by Gimme That would come out and won again, and the third horse, Europeana, would also come out and won. In fact, if one sort of dissect that form line even further, the fourth horse, Global Goddess, ran second next time out. The seventh horse, Jet for Time, ran third, and the eighth horse, Kayleen, ran second. So there's lots to like about that form line, and also another horse that I think we can expect marked improvement for, and one that I would include in trifectas and quartets. But all in all, I think we don't need to look beyond 11, you know who, as far as the banker for the opening leg of the PA is concerned.
Shaheen, you happy to banker there?
I just want to ask Rouvaun something, because I haven't got a computer form in front of me, because he's mentioned form lines. How far back did this filly run last time, Temple Bar, Rouvaun? I'm just asking because I...
11
and a half legs.
How many?
11 and a half legs, but did show pace.
Did
show pace. And remember, the Durbanville track is running fast. So if you jump and go up there, you can stay on.
Not arguing with you, because I'm going to make note of that and maybe throw it in the buy pot. It's a big price. I'll tell you why, because in this race, when I first looked, I thought I'd found a horse at a great price. This horse, Hendo Shuffle. But unfortunately, that's now scratched. But that's a half brother, by the way, to the useful PE campaigner, Joyful Noise. So we must remember that for next time. But Rouvaun spoke about form lines. Now, this horse cost 900K. You know who. Beat Augusta Green. They ran in the same race. Augusta Green was beaten 2 3/4 lengths by you know who. If I remember correctly, I haven't got it with me. I don't think the time was the greatest, but I tell you what the worry is. There have been 5 runners from the form line and not a place. So, you know, you've got all these first timers. So I thought we just got to stick with them. As I say, Augusta Green was finishing faster than you know who. You know who is now, by the way, I think 6.5 to 10. Obviously, those are the two. But now, after what Rouvaun mentioned, I'm going to throw the filly in just for the hell of it, in case something unbelievable happens and the wheels come off. So I've certainly put a tick now next to Temple Bar.
So, boys, I want to tell you a story about this race, because number 10, Vida Futura, is making his debut. Do you recognize the name? I tell you why. Clocking the Gallop viewers will recognize it, because I did a little documentary on Vida Futura. I went to the sales, and as you probably know, I'm a big rap for Futura. I think he's a very nice stallion. And I was trying to buy one at the 2-year-old sale last year. And I found this Futura, which is Vida Futura, at Bush Hill. If you go back on Clocking the Gallop, you'll actually see there's a video where I got Graham Hawkins to come and have a look at the horse, looked at his pedigree and so forth. And then I filmed him going into the sales ring and then coming out. I can't remember. It'll be on the video. What happened about 3 weeks later is John O'Snaith phoned me and said, you know, that I bought that horse for Mauritian owners, I think. And I said to him, well, he's in good hands, but he's a nice horse. So I very nearly, I mean, had I been able to form the Ben Mag Blue Syndicate a bit earlier, we probably would have owned him. But what with my quadruple bypass, I was a bit behind schedule, so administratively wise. So I'll be very interested to see how he goes, that Vida Futura. I think he's a very nice horse. He's probably going to need a bit of ground, but keep an eye on him, because you're all involved now with I Did It My Way, but bear yes, but spare a thought, because you might actually, if it had been 3 months or so earlier, you might have been owning him, Vida Futura. So we'll see how he goes.
100K purchase, I think.
How much?
100K.
Yes, correct. Exactly right. 100K, which was very within our boathouse. We could have probably afforded that. Right. Okay. So let's move on. Let's go on to the next race and pick up on race 3. Let me go to Shaheen first. Shaheen. Paper Trail Wordsworth, probably enough here, I would think.
Yes, we must mention this form line, this T'Challa, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
The form line is unbelievable. There have been 8 runners from that form line. You know, if you go on form grids and you just see green and yellow, it immediately catches the eye. And from those 8 runners, there have been 3 firsts and 5 seconds.
Wow.
So, I mean, that is an absolutely outstanding form line. The 7 also comes out of that form line, but I can't see that worrying the first 2. It's well held by Wordsworth. In fact, on debut, he's beaten 16.2 lengths. So, yeah, Paper Trail does look the business in the 3rd, because there's an indirect form line, or there's a direct form line if you go through it. Paper Trail has the beating of Wordsworth, I think, on 2 occasions. Yeah, and the one is now 3 kgs better off is Wordsworth, if I'm correct. So those to me look the 2, Neil. I can't look past those 2. I think Paper Trail, when it comes to the exotics, is a bank. I don't think Paper Trail will miss out on the first 3, and I think Wordsworth will probably chase him home in that form line, as we say. 1, 2, and here we go. Numbers 1 and 2 is enough.
Okay, Rouvaun?
We can move swiftly along to race 4.
Okay, before we do, hold on. I just want to get us back over here and share what Shaheen's referring to with form grids. And this is exactly what he's saying, because you can just see there, the yellow, green, yellow, green. It's everywhere. And this is the T'Challa form line. So 3 winners and a lot of seconds, remarkable form line. So exactly what the boys.
And I think that was the jockeys. That was the jockeys versus work riders race that has turned out to be one of the most exciting lines to follow.
Correct. No, that's enough for me.
Yeah, I think that's
1, 2 is enough.
Everybody there. Okay, let's move on to the next race. And I'm struggling now to get out of this stop sharing mode. There we go. Now we're back with us. Right. Let's move on. Rouvaun, next race then. Take us through your opinions for the 4th.
Okay, so race 4 I thought was a little bit more open than what the betting suggested. In fact, I think the betting says that Atterbury Lake is favored at 15 to 10. Yes, 3 very good runs to date. She did finish the last race well. The 4th place run in that race was also Golden Dawn, that has subsequently come out and won. But I really like this horse, number 2, Adira. She is making her course debut. I thought that was a very, very good last effort when she was absolutely flying up in that freeway photo that she was involved in. And the horse that finished just a nose in front of her was a horse called Tallahassee, who has subsequently come out and won as well. So to me, I like Adira, particularly the way she finished off that last race. Joe's Love is another one that since fitted with blinkers has shown lots of improvement, and it seems like Joe's Love has also built up a very good relationship with Anthony Andrews. If we look particularly at the last 2 runs, that last one was where the last 2 runs she went to the front, and it was a case of come and catch me if you can, and on both occasions she got run out of it. So they're probably going to try some of the tactics with the course that's running so quick at Durbanville. And then of course Rose Princess, who comes back in trip. She's another one that's got impeccable form. Isn't Grant van Eyck just riding at the top of his game at the moment? From pole position, another one that can't be ignored. So my order of preference is 2, 1, 5, 3 in that order for race 4.
2153 says Rouvaun. Shaheen, what are you doing in your beloved bipot?
One thing I want to say, Neil, sometimes I don't mean to be cheeky. I don't mean to be cheeky. We have to give our opinion. This horse, Joe Loves, I think is at 6s now, or 11-2. I think it may have gone 6-1. On the website, the Backyard gave it quite a chance in this race. Now, as I say, I'm not being cheeky. I'm just giving my opinion. If I was offered 1,000 to 10, I wouldn't take it. About an 11-2 shot. I may get into trouble. It's possible. But as I'm saying, I wouldn't take 1,000 to 10. Joe Loves. Rouvaun mentions Adira. I think Adira is a big runner from the Adam Marcus yard. I like Adderbury Lake. The horse has obviously got scope and is improving, but I'm not over the moon about that one. I'm a little bit iffy, to be honest. And also Rose Princess last time I thought was bitterly disappointing. They backed that to odds on. Everyone thought that would win. So there I've also got a question mark. So I wouldn't be surprised maybe if Adira upstages the more fancied runners. I think Rouvaun could be on the right track here. And by the way, Arundel, you know, Greg Sheen, you've got to watch out for him. That's drawn a little bit wide though, but maybe that can improve too in the fourth race.
So a little trappy. You both think that perhaps you've got to pay a little bit wider there, just in case.
Yeah, I do think. I'm going to cover that leg by putting in pause.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the next race, and I was on form grid, so I thought might as well just show you so we can see the colours of the horses. This is the race with Legitimise, the 1-2, Crack It Open, the second. Let's go to Rouvaun for this one. Rouvaun, to start with, what did you like here?
To me, it's a case of you either banker or you have to go very wide. And the banker would be number 3, One Way Traffic, Richard Curry, Justin Snape. Second run since being gelded, and second run after the rest. I thought that comeback run was certainly eye-catching. The way that he was finishing off the race, and I think we should go one better. Attorney General has subsequently come out and won again. So that certainly gives that form line a lot of credit. He did finish second. So to me, it's either One Way Traffic or low.
Are you convinced, Shaheen? I'm looking now at this form grids. As Rouvaun said, Attorney General has franked the form, but you know, I see Abraham Lincoln. Sure, I mean he's a battler, isn't he? I think Rose LaHoop owns Abraham Lincoln. I mean, I'd have gone to another civil war if I'd owned him. I mean, he's bitterly disappointing, Abraham Lincoln. But are you happy to bank a One Way Traffic, or are you going a bit wider?
I think you must maybe take a cover, but this horse was rested and gelded. To me, I went through this field. It's a sorry state of affairs, to be honest.
I agree.
There's not much happening around One Way Traffic. So I think One Way Traffic's the right one. If I had to cover, I found an indirect form line somewhere along the line that 4 Goodyear had One Way Traffic held, but horses improve and One Way Traffic's improving. So in the main perm, I'd bank a One Way Traffic, and then I'd cover and take a chance throwing the 4, a Goodyear, and then a roughie called Bel Punto is number 7 with Aldo de Meyer. Because if you lose One Way Traffic in the bipod, it'll be a massive result. And also, I'm not too crazy about this horse, Tales of Us, who, by the way, is a full brother to the Gatekeeper, but hasn't really caught the eye to date. Seems a bit of a plodder.
Okay, let's move on then.
I'm fairly strong. One Way Traffic.
Okay, you guys have summed that up nicely. Let's move on to the next race. Important scratching here. Black Silver is out. So that will not take part in the Durbanville contest. Let me start with you this time, Shaheen. No Black Silver. What do you like here?
You know, when I came back and you got me on the show, thanks for that, some time ago, I think it was our second meeting or third meeting. We had a red letter day. You remember Rouvaun, this horse Kun Ming?
I remember Kun Ming.
When winning the maiden, I think we took like 4 or 5 winners that day at reasonable prices. Now, I've gone through the weights, and on the weights, this has to be a massive runner, this Kun Ming. I think he's at 5-1. Ran on under Keegan de Mello as well, looking through the form lines at 1 run. And Kun Ming actually at one stage long ago, I think, beat some of these horses in a maiden. So I really like Kunming. I'm not so mad on So Flawless at the weight of the 59.5, but I think this Halloween has scope. Brett Crawford and Greg Sheen, and those are the two I'm concentrating on. I'm not going further than those two. I'm going to actually try and brass Mr. Van Niekerk, who, as Rouvaun says, is just a master in the irons. But let's try and see if we can beat him there. I think he's at around 7-2. A little bit of money for Halloween. So I like 7 Kunming at 5-1. I like Halloween.
Well, I brought up Kunming's form because I didn't have much time to study today, but I had a look at this race, and I was very excited when I saw all the green and yellow here on form grids. And there is So Flawless, who ran behind Kunming when you guys tipped it.
Correct.
So if you count the winners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's been 7 winning races. A couple of them have won 2 races, 2 races, Silver Maria and So Flawless. In fact, this line has been very good to you, Shaheen, because you tipped Silver Maria as well. So you obviously like this form line.
And the 6 kg swing. 6 kg swing on that.
And Neil and Joe's Love is running earlier on in the day, but Shaheen said he won't take 1,000 to 10 with. So
yeah, although
there's a lot to like.
Quite some way back. Look, 7.5 back.
You know what? I don't want to be mean or things, but I tell you, I don't think there's anything wrong with Jolas, but it's just about the distance and the final 400 to finish compared to some of these horses. But no, I can't have that. I promise you. We know what happens. Murphy's Law. This year, Joe Loves goes on to win. We did that the other day. We got caught out the other day. I did too. Let's not lie about that. The horse was drawn 14 at Durbanville. Who was that? I think it won on debut by 4 lengths or something. You also didn't like it, Neil.
Yeah.
Was it a Brett Crawford horse or something?
Yes,
won again.
Brett Crawford horse. Greg Sheen rode it, I think, and he rode it very well. It was the only winner in the sales race. Yes, it was the only one that had won a race, and but Greg Sheen's a master. I've said to you before. People say, "Oh, he's not that vigorous in a finish." I say he's too clever for the lot of them. He's never involved in a finish because he's outsmarts them all.
Study, and look for Greg Sheen somewhere tomorrow along the line. Because somewhere he's going to pop up.
Yes, he always does. He's a great, because as I say, he's the thinking man's jockey. That's how I always describe him. Right, Rouvaun, anything to add there, or can we move on to the next race?
In fact, Greg Sheen might be on the right one in this race. He's riding Halloween here. The only horse that I actually would want to include here is So Flawless, which he's going to give Mr. Van Niekerk a miss, but I think I'm going to add him in. 257, that is exactly, I think we're on the same page. As you can see at the bottom there, I also found Kunming, looking at the corresponding form lines and having looked at form grids. So to me, that's more than enough. Thank you.
Okay, lovely. Was that race 6, guys? Because I'm on a different page now. Am I going to race 7?
Yeah, race 6.
Right, let me share that then. So we're going to move to the 7th race, and this is the Racing Association Fillies and Mares 72 handicap. Rouvaun, let me start with you in this race. Again, I was listening in when you guys were chatting, and I was keeping one eye on the match play golf, and I think I heard the word Mar Black mentioned.
Yep.
You like that?
Mar Black is actually one of 3 horses that I like at this race. If one looks at her form line, she's bumped some good sorts. I mean, Kitty Catchat, Hammy's Fan, Green Light Flash last time out, Green Light Gal last time out. And if you look, you'll see that she's been steadily coming down in the ratings. About 4 runs back, she was an 82. She's now down to a 72. So I think she's going to be much more competitive. And she's also does represent a bit of value at 5-1. Wins a Beat is another one that I think cannot be ignored, because if you do like the favorite, number 1 went to Fury, then you have to like number 7 Wins a Beat, because Wins a Beat is a kilo better off on their last meeting. And what was it, like about just over a length in it between the 2 of them. So Wins a Beat is definitely one also that needs to be considered with Keegan DeMella. And then, of course, you can't leave out Winter Fury. Those are the 3 that I think needs to be included in race 7. I sort of looked at some of the others and I thought, no, not for me, thank you very much. To me, that's pretty much it. Mar Black purely on the manner in which she's been dropping to a more competitive rating. She's my sort of marginal first choice in the race.
What about Shaheen? What did you like here? Because it looks quite trappy. You've got to be a little bit careful with these fillies and mares handicaps.
I think Winter Fury is 14 to 10. It is the top weight. I don't think Winter Fury will miss out on the PA, to be honest. I think Winter Fury will be right there. But I agree with Rouvaun, Mar Black at 5 to 1. Now with Domea riding, that definitely looks a runner. And I like another horse in the race, a horse called Chilly Winter, who last time out ran well against the boys. I gave that a chance, Chilly Winter. I think is at about 7.5 to 1. I think that's a nice horse for swingers and things. So PA purposes, I'd bank a Winter Fury, but dangers, Mar Black, Chilly Winter.
Okay, let's move on then to the Leicester of the Afternooner. As Neil Duffy would famously have said, and away they go in the Leicester of the Afternooner. And to take us through the Leicester of the Afternooner is Shaheen. Shaheen, what do you like in the last?
This was Ticket to Ride. It's a pity. The 1400 worries me. If it was 1250, 1200, I really like that. But the 1400, I've gone a little bit off. But as a chance, I think the stable's overdue. A winner, Craig Zaki, has a ride. You've got all lit up from the Sands Yard. It must be a runner against this opposition, Neil. There's not much in the way of opposition, honestly. I think all lit up will take a bit of beating, you know. And Van Niekerk's always trying. He's always thereabouts. Once again, I know it's favoured, but I can't see it missing a place. Beyond that, maybe a little bit of Benjamin, who seems better now, gelded, with Greg Sheen aboard. I think Benjamin with Greg Sheen maybe could be the danger to all lit up in race 8.
Rouvaun,
short and sweet
on this last race?
I think Shaheen pretty much found them all, except one horse that I also would like to just throw into the equation, and that's number 2, Ready Royal. Now, even though Ready Royal comes back from a bit of a rest, if one looks at Ready Royal's form, 1 on debut, next time out ran second to a horse called Capitana, then was very disappointing last time out and has been rested for 20 weeks. But, you know, if one sort of puts a line through that, because she did have excuses, it says she was difficult. There was also, she played up before the time. She bled and she was suspended. So now she's coming back from having had time off. She's obviously matured. And Louis Mkotwa is in the saddle. And funnily enough, when I sort of was looking at those form lines, I thought, I need to go and check the betting on this horse. And she shortened from 8 to 1 into 11 to 2. So I think I may have found us a little bit of a lurker and a bit of a shrewie in the last race. So from all the others that Shaheen has mentioned, I'm in complete agreement with him. And I would just add that one into the equation as well that needs to be put in.
Yeah, there was that article in the Sporting Post, just quickly, I think it was in the Sporting Post where they rated this horse. They rated this filly, the Snaith Yard, really royal. So who knows? 59.5, I'm not so sure.
It's Bjorn Nielsen's horse, isn't it? It's in Stratoveris's colours. Okay, well, boys, thank you very much. I hope you do well, because actually the Ghost Rider had a spectacular day today, Sunday. His best bet won and his value bet won. I think the double worked out to be 42 to 1. So well done to the Ghost Rider. He has his moments, the Ghost Rider. He's not always consistent, but I must say,
easy centre.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, it's an absolute poison chalice to tip in KwaZulu-Natal. But I also think, actually, Shaheen, that the reason why he came to form today is that we're going to see an upgrade in quality of animals arriving in KZN now. You know, Dean Caname arrived, Vaughan Marshall arrived. It's going to be easier because there's a better standard of horse as we enter into the winter season. Would you agree with that, Rouvaun?
Yep, 100%. Particularly if one look at the Guineas winner ran today and Captain of Stealth beat it. Captain of Stealth bouncing right back to form. And I remember when you did that show for the Durban July last year, Robert Bloomberg said that he really rated Captain of Stealth. I mean, he was off form for a while, but now obviously going to Durban, he probably enjoyed and relished the change of scenery. And a lot of horses are going up. In fact, even on Wednesday, we heard that Tuesday last week, or was it the Sunday meeting? One of the two. It was a Sunday meeting that the owner of Comedy Dung was on course. And Comedy Dung is even another one of those that will make the trip up to Durban. So it's going to be one heck of a season. And I reckon probably from a month from now, once they've all sort of settled in and have their first run back, and by the time the season kicks in on the 1st of May, Durban will pretty much run to form from that point onwards, and then you can clearly start making a case for who you think is going to win the bigger features. I do hope they're going to have that competition they normally have. We've got to pick 10 horses, see how they do over the season.
Oh,
I do
yes.
hope they're going to have that again, because that is normally something that adds to all the excitement of the season. And I think the big thing that all of us are sort of putting against each other's wits is who's going to win the Durban July. 3-year-olds, older horses, who could it possibly be? So yeah, that's another debate for another day.
You know how many times you boys went with that Captain Sal? I want to tell you a story. Rouvaun, I'm not going to mention names. We've got a mutual friend, a lady.
Yes.
A while back, she sent me a message, a place, a marshal horse. I looked at it, I gave it no chance. It ran third, I think it paid 520. Thereafter, she sent me a horse to win. Ignored it. I think it was 3-1 at one. So anyway, Captain of Stealth had passed the line. Must have been 5 minutes afterwards, I get a phone call. She says to me, how did Captain of Stealth do? So I said, no, it won easy. She said, oh, wonderful, because last night I was with the connections, not sure which connection, but they said a good thing. But it was too short for me to back. I said, no, it wasn't too short. It was backed. So it's come back to haunt me again, that horse today, Captain of Stealth. But this time she didn't send me any message. But
I know who the lady connection is, and she was probably having dinner with her boss. She was having dinner with her boss because her boss owns it.
She's 3 from 3.
Yes.
Well, can you let us know when she phones again?
Yeah, please.
After I mention this, you'll probably never contact me again as long as I live.
Let me just have a look.
We didn't mention any names.
Let me just have a look if I've had a phone call. No, nobody's phoned me. Well, there you go. Guys, always entertaining. I just want one last question, and I want Shaheen to keep it very brief with his answer, because he could actually wax lyrical for 30 minutes when he hears what question I'm going to ask him. But would you be backing Summer Pudding for the July?
No.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to
Nico took a very impressive all to come, didn't he? Eyes on Tiger.
A place.
The viewers must listen to this. Eyes on Tiger, a place. The other horse. Who was that horse who run first, second, first, that one? Mind Reader or something? Was it Mind Reader?
Yes, Mind Reader.
Yeah.
Mind Reader, place. On to Summer Pudding a win when the horse was 1-4, because he was worried it may go off or shorten 1-5. So well done to him. Eyes on Tiger, place. Mind Reader, place. And Summer Pudding a win at 1-4. Well played, son. I wonder what he got. Must have worked out to what, 7-10?
No ways. No, I don't think it was 7-10. I think it maybe 6-10, probably 5-10, maybe a place.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, look, I mean, as you heard, I said Summer Pudding would have to fall over to get beaten, but I'm afraid that was about the company she kept. She will be asked some more questions and serious questions when she gets to Durban, that's for sure. But anyway, boys, it's been very entertaining. Rouvaun, Shaheen, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for your time as always. And check your videos, because, and this is true for all the other owners of I Did It My Way, because I've put together a special little package of which informs everybody who is part of the syndicate, because the syndicate's now officially closed. The horse is 100% sold. And some footage from Troy Finch of I Did It My Way, who settled in really nicely at Sorrento. So everybody who's got a share in that Horse Weave Syndicate, keep a look in your inbox, as Shaheen and Rouvaun will do. Night, boys.
Have a good day.